5 lights. And away we go, Edge on pole position. Off they go, and I see you've got a decent start there. Edge got a very good one. He's clear into turn 1. Into 3rd place by the looks of it goes Silver.
Oh, and there's a car off. It's Scott Thomas into the wall. He lost a bit of his front wing.
There's all sorts of fun and games going on into the fast chicane there. Rev. Oh, and OceanChief get together, and off goes Ocean into the wall. Edge.
He's getting into the nose.
About a half a second ahead of Sergio. Sergio's running a little bit wide, hitting the wall on the inside. That was a big impact. I'm not sure whether it got any of the front wing. It looked like he might have been alright. Very close now. Copy having to go to the outside of Babs as they run through turn 8 absolutely side by side. And I think he might just have this sort of side by side on the exit. They're going to be side by side, I think, all the way up towards the far chicane. Who's going to blink here? Vance on the outside, Copy on the inside. Vance. It is EGL and it's SLR once again on a Saturday afternoon. Welcome along to, where are we? We're at Canada, aren't we? That's where we are. It's the pit lane at Canada. It's me, Terra Incognita, and alongside me today, because we don't have Mr. Thimo, he's off, sleeping off a sleepover somewhere or something like that, I don't know. In any case, he's not here. The man who is here is none other than Mr. TipsyBob. How's it going? How's it going, Tipsy?
Yes, the man that does indeed speak the truth. TipsyBob sitting in for Thimo, but I think this is just a one-off. I'm pretty good, Jay. I was going to call you cheap there. Tara, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going all right. I think it's going to be a fun one, this, because we've got a pretty full grid today. We've had a couple of races where, I guess because it's August and also because it was Monaco, people weren't particularly keen on racing SLR Tier 1, but we've got 17 drivers today, so I think it'll be a competitive one. We've got the usual suspects. We've got Astro Boys, who's back after a while. We've got, who else have we got? We have Slash LP, of course, right here. He's on his outlap at the moment. We got Pretorius, who won at Monaco. We got Bailey Thompson, who took pole at Monaco by a long way and then self-destructed in the race. We got Speedy. We got Light Cruiser. We got all the usual suspects. We have Adam Adironerve making his debut in the Haas today, so I think it'll be a fun one. I think there's lots of drivers who could potentially win this one.
Yeah, speaking of Adrenov, Adam, I believe he's actually trying out for a Tier 1 seat, as far as I'm aware. So this is a big deal for him in his performance in Canada. And there's also, I think, 3 reserves: NJ, Dill, and Lindevink. They're also sitting in for a few of the main guys. But I'll be keeping a wee eye on Adam. I've been watching him a lot in the Tier 2 races, and I have been kind of supporting him a lot in terms of his performances, how he's really stepping up. So this will be the first time I get to see him in a Tier 1 division or Tier 1 caliber of drivers. So for me, it'll be really interesting just watching how he gets on. I think he's going to do pretty good.
Oh, Pretorius loses his front wing in turn 3, unfortunately for him, or turn 4, or whatever it is, that first chicane. Anyway, this won't be a terribly good lap for him, I wouldn't have thought. He's the first man out there at the moment. I think you're right about Adam. I think he's put in some really good performances. I watched some of the F2 race last night, and he was trying for several laps to get past. I think it might have been Bascodini. I can't remember who it was. But he was trying everything to get past them, but he obviously had really good pace, and it'll be really interesting to see how he does today. Certainly on a track where you can pass, it'll be slightly easier for him.
I think the other thing to mention, which maybe the people watching will hopefully be a little bit more relieved, or could I say delighted, knowing that because Mr. Terror, or Mr. T as I'm calling him, is holding the fort now, I'm able to keep an eye on the chat. So anybody wants to get any mentions on the stream, just bang it into the chat and I'll be over it.
Yep, absolutely. It's get lots of participation going on in the chat. We have Kitsune in the chat, as you would expect. It's her husband on the comms and Kitsune in the chat, so good to see you there. And Miloš Martika, once again, as you would expect, is in the chat. He'll race again eventually when he's back from Poland.
Yeah, Push is asking on the chat. I think he's pretty much asking people on the chat, but I mean, there's no reason why we can't get involved in it as well. He's asking who are your bets today. So what do you reckon, there, Mr. T? Who do you reckon is going to get the win? Never mind the point.
I have a feeling that Bailey Thompson might be trying very hard to bounce back from last week. And I think my money might be on Bailey. Jensen isn't here for this one, of course. Speedy is. Pretorius is. But Bailey has shown that he's extremely fast. And I think my money might be on Bailey today. I think I'm backing him to certainly bounce back from what was a complete disaster of a Monaco race after a really, really impressive qualifying.
Yeah, the guys you mentioned, they're all of them, or any one of them can win it. I think Bailey Thompson is a pretty good shout. If not for Bailey, then I would say more likely Speedy, because Speedy is currently P1, I believe, in Tier 1 standings.
Yeah.
So he's currently 6th pole at the moment.
Yeah,
not much of Slashy, which is actually a pretty good performance by Slashy.
It's a very good lap. A 9.0 from Slash is a really good lap. We probably should talk a little bit more about that, because Slash isn't somebody who's traditionally at the front, but certainly from time to time he shows us that he has some pace, and he showed us today by putting in a really, really good lap, faster than Bailey Thompson's first lap and almost as fast as Speedy's first lap, so good stuff from Slash.
Yeah, Slashy does, as you were saying, show some form. Sometimes he just shows these spouts of absolute brilliance. Notably, I think it was Baku when he won the Formula 2 race, really convincingly as well. I think the sad news is, from what I read just before the stream came up live, is that Slash is actually stepping down from Formula 2, which is a shame, because he was one of the real top guys in that division.
Oh, yeah, that is a shame. Yeah, he was in what was, I think, quite a competitive division. He was one of the fastest. So it's sad to see. What happened to Triton? Did he crash? He was on the hard tyres. I wonder if he crashed. I'm going to stay on board with Bertus here and see if we can find Mr. Triton and see what happened to him.
Well, meanwhile, while we're waiting to see where Triton is, Minos wants me to mention his predictions. He says Speedy for P1, Bailey P2, and Astro P3.
Yeah, I think those are sensible predictions. I think they are the form drivers at the moment. As Light Cruiser crosses the line. Only P6 though for Light Cruiser on the medium tyres. So certainly Light Cruiser will want to improve on that with the soft tyres. But yeah, I don't know what happened to Triton. I can only imagine that he crashed. He was out on the hard tyres. So maybe he just was a little bit too enthusiastic in the final chicane or something like that and stacked it into the wall of champions.
I'll see if I can track him down and get it from himself. What happened?
Good lap from NJJ, putting it into P5 or minute 9.3. Who else do we have on a lap at the moment? Danico appears to be on a hot lap. He's got all sorts of traffic in front of him. Both Williams is getting out of the way. Danny just, he doesn't really outbrake himself. He almost did, but managed to keep it in on the straight and narrow there. Just about managed to stay on the racing line. Can he get the final chicane right? We will see. He again breaks. Oh, that surely is an invalidation. I don't think you get away with that. Cut the first part of the chicane, and yeah, indeed, it was a 1 minute 9.3. It would have put him P4, I think, ahead of Icewind, but unfortunately, just invalidated at the final chicane. Here is Icewind on those soft tyres. This is his second qualifying run of the day. I thought that might have been an invalidation there in turn 6, but seems to still be on it.
So I was just getting a wee heads up on what happened to Triton, and I think Dead Pixel had an issue with his wheel or something, and ended up colliding with Triton and took him out.
Yep, just reading chat now. That is really unfortunate. Oh no. That is a very sad way to have your qualifying session ended. Triton really, really unlucky with that one. Icewind crosses the line and he goes fastest of all. That is a great lap from Icewind. A 1 minute 8.7. 3/10 faster than Speedy. And that is going to be a tough lap, I think, for some of the others to beat. We've got Bailey Thompson, who's on a lap at the moment. He certainly is one person who can do it. Speedy on an out lap, but Icewind putting in a very strong lap with 8 minutes to go in this qualifying session.
Yeah, Icewind is a kind of like a dark horse that we never really mention him in terms of, you know, challenging up for podium places, but I mean, he has just increasing his performance and his speed almost race by race. I mean, I remember he did send a picture one time that he races from his sofa, but he has since upgraded to a more professional racing kind of a seat. I don't know whether that's made a difference because his performance has just skyrocketed.
Yeah, it certainly has. Bailey, I think, got, I wouldn't say blocked, but certainly affected by Dead Pixel, who I believe was on a lap himself. Well, maybe he wasn't on a lap, so Dead Pixel really should have gotten out of the way of Bailey Thompson there, but he didn't. And instead, I think Bailey will be a little bit unhappy. But yeah, I agree about Icewind. I mean, Icewind's pace has never really been in question. He's certainly since the start of this season, he's been very fast indeed. The issue with Icewind is that his consistency just isn't quite there at the moment. He gets lots of penalties and he crashes occasionally as well. So
yeah, that was the kind of same thing that Adam was doing in a lot of his races as well. He always had pace, but the inconsistency. But he seemed to kind of nail that down, and he's been on the podium, I think, in a few races in a row recently.
Yeah, absolutely right. I'm gonna just very quickly turn Tipsy up on Discord because I think he's just a tiny bit quiet. So there we go. Hopefully this works okay. If you see Dead Pixel crossing the line. Good lap from Dead Pixel. 1 minute 9.9. Goes P7. What have we got on a fast 1/LP? We have El Sergios has joined the session. I don't think he's going to be racing, but really good to see Sergios back in the SLR community. Slash does just about get it slowed down for the hairpin. So 6 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Pretorius has put a very good lap in on mediums. A 1 minute 9.5, which is certainly a strong lap. Slash, does he improve? He doesn't look like he improved. Maybe he did just barely. In fact, he invalidated by the looks of it. It was another 1 minute 9.0.
So I think the tire strat for Canada, if it's dry, tire, I think, isn't it soft to hards? I think is the best. No, soft. Well, I'm not sure actually.
I think soft to hards is possible. I think it's one of those tracks because the pit lane is really short. You can get away with two stopping, and it's not really any slower in terms of like overall race time than one stopping. The issue, of course, if you two stop, is that you're likely to be in traffic. But you are going to be fast, and you are going to be able to overtake because it's a track on which you can overtake. So I think we might see a few two-stoppers. I think certainly you want to be qualifying on the qualifying tyre, the softs. Speedy comes across the line. Is he going to put it on pole? Not quite. A 1 minute 8.816 from Speedy.
I mean, that kind of goes to show you how good a lap Icewind did set there.
Yep, absolutely.
Speedy was like pushing very hard, and he still can't quite touch that time. Although he's getting close.
Yep, certainly is getting closer. He'll have one more shot at it. Astro Boy's on track at the moment. We're going to watch him for a little bit. That was right on the edge of being an invalidation, but I think he was just about okay in turn 3 into the left-right chicane. That was very nice through there. He got it nicely slowed down and got the power down on the exit as well. Down the back straight goes Astro Boys into the chicane. And again, just inch perfect there on the inside. You don't want to take the corner properly, but you certainly can't cut it too much because you'll get invalidated. Astro Boys nearly 9/10 up, so he is competitive with the front runners here. As it comes down the back straight. We have yellows for something a little bit further back. Don't know exactly why. Astro, I guess he invalidated though because he's gone straight on into the pits and he'll get one more shot at it in the final 3.5 minutes or so of this session. Blindevink retires. Don't know why. We might find out why Icewind retires as well. Oh, that's why Blindevink retired. Because... oh no, as thankfully he ghosted for Shu. Shu crosses the line and he actually goes 6th fastest on a 1 minute 9.5. So good stuff from Shu. Putting that second racing point up into the top 6.
I've seen Triton left the server a while ago, but I haven't seen him return. So
yeah, I don't know.
Hopefully he makes it for the race.
Yeah.
I'll do a bit of sniffing to see what I can find out.
Yeah, hopefully he's intending to join the race. It would be a shame to miss out for him. Adira Nerve goes through the final couple of corners. He's going to cross the line. He's certainly improving, and he goes P10 on a 1 minute 9.9. So a good lap from Adira Nerve, puts him in the top 10. I don't know for exactly how long. We've got everyone, let's say everyone, most drivers now on another run, on an out lap. And that's one of them right there, Speedy, who's going to be able to start his flying lap with about 30 seconds to go. Bailey Thompson also out there at the moment. He's down at the hairpin, just warming his tyres up ahead of the final lap of this qualifying session. Slash LP as well, deciding to take a very wide line there to let the Renault through.
Mr. T, we have some bad news. Mr. Triton is not going to race.
Oh no.
I think he's just pretty devastated after what happened to him, and it just kind of put him straight out of the mood.
Oh
so he's
dear.
Not going to take part in this.
R.I.P. Mr. Triton. Hopefully we see him for future races. We're likely to see him, I don't know if we're going to see him tomorrow. Hopefully we will. The 2SRL race. Whereas now we have Bailey Thompson starting his flying lap. He did a very, very slow final sector. I guess wanted to cool the tyres down. Give himself plenty of space ahead of this final run. Through the right-left chicane he goes. Through up towards the end of the first sector. He is nearly 2/10 up on his previous best lap time. So Bailey Thompson giving it everything he's got here. He's got a little bit of traffic in front. Hopefully they'll get out of the way. Dead Pixel does decide to go straight on at the chicane, so good stuff from Pixel. Keeping an eye on the scoreboard at the moment. NJJ has put himself up to P4. Good lap from him in the Mercedes. Well, he's ahead of Bailey at the moment. I missed the second sector time. Didn't see what it was for Bailey. He's going to come through to the end of this lap very shortly indeed. There are yellows in Sector 3. Why are there yellows in Sector 3? Somebody has spun. It is Astro Boys, and I think Bailey hit a barrier there that was invisible. So Bailey, who I think was going to improve, isn't able to improve. Speedy, though, goes through the final corner. He did manage to negotiate the traffic. He crosses the line. He goes third, but Slash LP, meanwhile, when did that happen? That happened about 20 seconds ago. Slash LP has put it on pole So a fantastic lap from Slash. None of us were expecting that.
Yeah, I was running on board with Speedy to see how much he was proving and improving, and he wasn't improving, but he wasn't really going any slower. He was kind of matching his same time. So I kind of missed that, but it is a big surprise there, Tara, to see Slashy and Icewind on where they are, and Bailey and Speedy further down, even Pretorius as well. The guys that we were expecting to be up there, and Astro.
Well, Pretorius, it should be noted, is going to be starting on the medium tyre, so he's going to have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to the tyre wear for the first stint. But he's down in P8. You really don't want to be starting P8 even on the medium tyres. You'd much rather be right at the sharp end, which is where Icewind and Slash LP both find themselves. So good stuff from those two. Speedy pushed down to third. Bailey Thompson, I think, would have improved with that final run, but unfortunately there was a crashed car. It was Astro Boys right in front of him, and he could not negotiate him without losing a wheel. So Astro Boys down in P10 is a little bit of a surprise as well. He's also on the mediums, but again, that is really not where you want to be. If you start on the mediums, you really want to be at least close to the top 5. You do not want to be P10, because it gives you so much work to do.
Yeah, I was looking down the standings of Tier 1 before the stream, and it looks like it's not that competitive. There's just a couple of guys leading at the top, compared to the Tier 2 division, where it's really hotly contested for, I think, the first 11 places. But this qualifying session is completely threw that on its head for me. Whenever you see the people we would expect up top are not quite there, and there are other boys up there in that podium, qualifying podium place. So, I mean, if they can keep it together, this is going to really mix things up.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, a couple of drivers. I mean, you mentioned Icewind earlier, who has been competitive pretty much all season, but just hasn't been able to string the results together. And maybe today is the day where Icewind is able to do that. And Speedy, who's always at the front and always very consistent and always very competitive, is also up there as well. But at the moment, Icewind and Slash, with the pace that they have. Slash says he's very nervous. Don't be nervous, Slash. You're in the best possible place to avoid all the carnage. So here we go. The formation lap. Slash LP leads them away. And we've memed Slash before about the formation lap, but this time he has come to race, starting from pole position.
Yeah, just reading the chat, and Triton says that he can watch the stream without getting taken out.
Oh,
Poor Triton.
bad luck, Triton. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, as Pretorius rear ends Shoe, and they will, I think, both be disqualified from the formation lap. So cold tyres for the pair of them. And Pretorius just got caught out. Right, Shoes braking, so it's a pretty costly mistake, especially on the medium tyres. You don't want to be starting with cold tyres on the medium tyres. It really makes it difficult to get a good launch.
Well, I never noticed Sergio's here. You must have joined midway through qualifying. He's currently in P18. So expect a little charge from the back from Sergios.
Oh, Sergios is racing. Okay, wow, well, that's interesting. So, yeah, I did mention Sergios in qualifying. I didn't expect him to be racing though, so that will be fun to watch. We'll see if Sergios can get himself any good points here in the Haas from the back of the grid. Presumably he's on default setup.
Yeah, oh well, yeah, I suppose so. I'll be keeping a wee eye on what's going on in the back.
Cool, so we've got everybody lined up now. Slash's car just does a little wiggle there. Don't know exactly why that was, but everything is okay. We have 5 lights in Canada. and they are out. A pretty good start by the looks of it from Icewind at the front. A good start from Slash, though. Slash leads into the first corner. Speedy has to get out of it a little bit, and a little bit of a concertina effect towards the back as NJJ and Pretorius look like they're desync for each other, occupying the same piece of racetrack. Into the right-left chicane they go again, absolutely together.
Oh my goodness. Sergio went for a dive on Adam.
As Bailey passes Speedy into the left-right chicane. Good stuff from Bailey. Didn't see what happened. Speedy must have made a mistake, though, because that's the only time anything happens there as Pretorius goes into the wall and loses a bunch of his front wing. Pretorius lost a couple of places there, and he is going to be understeering so much now in that Renault. We've got Bertus all over the back of him. This is the battle up front, though. Bailey very fast to Slash. Did Slash make a mistake there? Yes, he did. He went wide in the hairpin, and he pushed Icewind into the wall, and the 2 leaders have crashed. Oh, disaster for the pair of them. Icewind certainly lost some front wing. Didn't see if Slash did as well, but absolute drama at the front. We'll see if either of them are going to be able to pit. We got 3 wide heading into the chicane, and spinning is the Williams of Light Cruiser, and Slash involved in another incident, taking a swipe there at Light Cruiser. Light Cruiser wasn't really alongside into the chicane, and wow, what an eventful opening lap. Meanwhile, these two still together, NJJ and Pretorius.
All over each other, literally.
Yeah, quite literally. Into the first chicane at the second lap, and they won't be able to see each other. I'm pretty sure that's what's happened there. Pretorius has recovered reasonably well from that incident. Surely he is struggling with a lot of understeer in that car. Up front, though, Bailey Thompson almost out of DRS range for Speedy.
Bailey Cruiser spun in sector 2, and he's dropped all the way down now to P16.
Oh dear, yeah, he's right at the back, his Light Cruiser. So yeah, he had that incident with Slash in the Wall of Champions, and obviously suffering even more than that as they come through the final chicane. Somebody pitted there. Was that Slash pitting? It was Slash pitting.
Robertus is going to make a move on Pretorius at turn 1.
Down the inside he goes, and nicely done from Pretorius, defending on the outside. Also Icewind and Shu battling there. Icewind is missing a bunch of his front wing, I'm sure. This is Shu heading into the chicane as Shu spins. Oh, he just a little bit too greedy on the throttle on the exit of the left-hander at turn 4, and he spins as well. Lots of carnage on the opening 3 laps of this SLR Tier 1 race. And now that the dust has settled a little bit, it's the usual suspects at the front. Bailey and Speedy. And then Danny Coe and NJJ. And that is the closest battle in the top few positions at the moment. Dilla right on the back of Dead Pixel as well. DRS now enabled, of course. NJJ has it. For the final chicane they go. What an eventful start this has been, as Danico now is going to be under attack from the Mercedes down the inside into turn 1. NJJ, a nice clean move there, cuts off Danny's exit, and through the first 2 corners they go. NJJ up to 3rd.
Yeah, Bertus is still forcing these moves on Pretorius, and he's somehow fending him off. But I don't know how much longer he can.
He's got Icewind all over him as well. A Shoe retires, unfortunately for him. We saw him have that spin last lap, so he decided to call it a day as Icewind gets very sideways on the exit of turns, 5 and 6, whatever they are. The second chicane.
Yeah, we lost Sergio at the beginning. He went for a wee lunge on Adam, and he just left it too late and went straight off track, hit the wall, and I think Blindevink had collected in it as well.
Ah, I see. That's unfortunate. So Sergio's unfortunately not a glorious return for him. I'm sure he'll be back though. So we've got this battle for 5th, 6th and 7th at the moment. Pretorius is missing a bunch of front wing, still hasn't pitted though, as Icewind does decide to pit. He was also missing front wing. And that, I'm sure, is why, as Dead Pixel goes across the chicane and is going to lose that position to Dilla, I think, P7. So Dead Pixel forced into an error there. Now we've got Astro Boys all over the back of him.
Oh my goodness, sorry, he's tired. Burtis got too greedy on the throttle and he went right round, almost a full 360, and he hit the wall, so I'm sure he must be almost no wing whatsoever.
Yeah, you can see he's struggling a lot with understeer, and that's not surprising if that's what happened to him. So Dilla's going to pass him very easily into the right-left chicane. And now Burtis is going to be, I would imagine, a sitting duck for the two behind him as well. Dead Pixel alongside and past, and following him through, I'm sure, will be Astro Boys as well. Astro Boys looking to the inside of Dead Pixel. It was not a lot of room there, and he sends one up the inside. Does manage to hold it on the inside there, but Dead Pixel giving as good as he gets on the outside. Side by side though down the straight. Looks like Astro has it for the time being with the DRS, so Dead Pixel not going to be able to respond to that. So Astro Boy's up to P7 on those medium tyres. Pretorius though has decided to pit to change his front wing, so he was obviously suffering enough that he couldn't really carry on. And into the pits he goes as well. Pixel still on the back of Astro Boys. Dilla trying to pull away from Astro Boys. Dead Pixel hits the wall there. Didn't see whether he lost any wing. It doesn't look like he did. Keep an eye on these two.
Right on the gearbox of Slashy.
Well, it's been a pretty major disaster so far, this race, for these two. Yeah. Of course, they started on the front row. They're now battling for 12th on lap 6. Oh, Dilla, what's happened to Dilla? Something has, yep. He's spun a 360 in the right-left chicane. So Dilla, unfortunately, was running really well up in P5. And now, don't know if he's got all of his front wing still. Now he's missing a left end plate by the looks of it, so obviously hit the wall somewhere, and he is probably going to have to pit as well.
Slashy losing 2 places in about 3 corners.
Yeah.
Icewind and Pretoria.
Yep, didn't see how that happened, but Slash, I guess on the hard tyres, as he drives into the wall on the back straight. Thankfully he doesn't lose any wing for that. That would have been a silly way to lose some wing. Further up though, I press the wrong button. Here is Pretorius taking on Icewind, still side by side, and Pretorius just managing to squeeze it out around the outside of turn 2. Nicely done from him. They've just about enough room to Icewind. They went through the first couple of corners, so Pretorius up to P12. He has pitted already, of course, though so has Icewind. Icewind, oh, did Icewind hit the back of Pretorius there? I think he might have. And now he's again going to be all over the back of him with that DRS as they head into this right-left chicane. Icewind decides better of that. As NJJ pits from 3rd place, so he's the first of the soft runners to make a scheduled pit stop at least. And he gets his wing changed as well, so he obviously had some sort of an incident at some point that we didn't catch on camera. He rejoins, looks like in P8 or 9, so in fact in P10 he's behind both Dilla and Lindevink. As Light Cruiser also pits, he was struggling a little bit further down the field. NJJ of course pitted as well. As Adam, who's all the way up in 6th now, gets himself 3 seconds. But pretty good race overall for him. He didn't start, of course, in the top 10, so they will be relatively fresh, soft tyres. Oh, he makes a mistake, though, in the chicane there. Ocean is now going to be looking at the back of that Haas and thinking that he can get himself some P6 action here. Looks to the inside, but not able to brake late enough to make that move. As further up, we have 2 pit stops. Speedy pits from 2nd And Danny pits from third as well. So Danny, is he actually gone or is he being held? I hope he's actually gone. That was a long hold. Why was that? Why was he held that long? Don't know. Hopefully it wasn't the game bugging out. Speedy comes out in P3 now. He's about 4 seconds behind Astro Boys. Danny's come out way down though in P10, or in fact he's alongside the McLaren, and a little bit of contact between the two of them as Blindevink gets sideways there. He's got Pretorius right alongside as well now as Danny's side by side through the chicane. They both just about leave each other enough room. And looking as well is Icewind. So lots of action from Danny. Oh, Icewind! Oh no, we've seen him do that a few times before in SLR, and he's done it again, unfortunately. Just loses it on traction out of the right-hander. Out of turn 7, and around he goes. He's lost a bunch more of his front wing. He'll probably have to pit once again. So much action in this race. Bailey pits from the lead. So Astro Boys, who started down in P10, of course, on those medium tyres, as NJJ passes Dilla for 5th. Astro Boys now leads as Bailey was undercut by Speedy. So Speedy does make the undercut work. Had the one lap on those medium tyres, and that was enough for him to be able to jump Bailey, excuse me. So it's going to be a battle on between these two now. Lap 10, both on the medium, so it looks like they're both two-stopping.
Yeah, I think this is setting us up for a really great battle between these two guys, because there wasn't much separating them in the first.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's certainly the case. They were running pretty much the same pace. Bailey pulled out, I think, about 1.5 seconds in that first stint, but that's not really anything. As Danny Coe takes Dilla. Didn't see what happened to Dilla. Oh, Dilla gets rear-ended by Pretorius into the hairpin, and Pretorius trying to push his way past, but then gets a large amount of oversteer there on the exit of the hairpin, so Pretorius not able to make that one stick. Bailey, though, right on the back of Speedy.
Yeah, Bailey keeps having a wee look down the inside to see how much of a gap's being left. I expect him to use this lap to charge his ERS, and if not at the end of this lap, but I would say the next lap he's going to go for it.
Yeah, I think you might be right. They're both pretty steadily catching Astro Boys, who I would assume is one-stopping, so he's going to be putting the hard tyres on. So Astro Boys, I think, is actually in the net lead of this race at the moment, but obviously he's going to be on much slower tyres for the rest of the race. I think it's a matter of time before these two get there. I don't think Speedy will have DRS this time. I don't think he was quite close enough to Astro Boys, so Bailey turns the hybrid all the way up. He's going to have the DRS. He's going to be in rich engine mode. Speedy goes defensive, but it's not going to do him any good whatsoever, because Bailey's going to be passed before they get to the chicane. And he retakes what is effectively the lead of the race as they complete lap number 11. Bailey Thompson with the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 12.0. And Speedy's job now, with those slightly older tyres, is to try and hang on to the back of that racing point.
Of course, Bailey has the issue of getting past Astro. And Astro does defend quite hard, as we are already seeing.
Ooh, trying to go around the outside, and you've got to leave him room, Astro. Oh, Astro did not leave him room. As Speedy going to try and go between the two of them now. They're going to be 3 wide heading into the right-left chicane at turn number 8. Speedy, I think, wisely decides not to put his nose in, as Astro decides that he's just going to go straight across the chicane. He's going to lose both of those places, though, to Bailey and Speedy. Just a little bit unnecessary from Astro Boys. No real reason to fight that at all. Almost gets himself into an accident because of it. He's right on the back though of Speedy now. He's going to have a look into the chicane. He is. Speedy's going to go defensive, but not defensive enough. Astro Boy's down the inside into the final chicane. Does chop a bit off the second part of the chicane. And this is absolute manna from heaven for Bailey Thompson, because he's now going to be able to get away from these two. Bailey, oh, and Speedy sends one up the inside into turn one. Pulls out of it just in time though. Good action between these two, but again, Astro Boy is just holding himself up here. He's not really in a race with these guys. Speedy gets himself 3 seconds. Almost pushing him around those two corners as he finally gets the move done into the left-right chicane. So Speedy now will be wanting to stretch his legs away from Astro Boy's, but that will have cost him so much time. 2.5 seconds now behind Bailey Thompson.
Yeah, he also got himself a 3-second time penalty battling Astro.
Yep, he certainly
may
did.
well play into later on in the race. Astro's also got a 3-second time penalty, and he was on much older tyres. I didn't see much point in that battle.
Yeah, no, there was absolutely no point in that battle. But he decided to fight anyway. Icewind gets himself 3 seconds. He's all the way down at the back now, unfortunately.
I think Danny's going to go for a move here on NJJ.
Yeah, I think so too. NJJ has the ghost of El Sergios in front of him, but decides to go defensive. Is he going to be able to hold the inside? No, he's not. Danny's going to be ahead. Excuse me, once again ahead before they get to the corner. So Danny go up to P4 on track now. He's 12 seconds behind Astro Boys, but of course Astro Boys will have to pit soon and will have to put the hard tyres on to go to the end of the race, assuming that's what he wants to do. Lindevink gets himself 3 seconds, running down in P13. Bertus now chasing down Slash LP, Slash on the hard tyres. Not sure he's going to be able to go to the end of the race, but certainly he's going to be able to go quite deep into the race with those hard tyres. Bertus will certainly have gotten a warning for that. Trying a little bit too hard to cut the chicane. He's right on the border of DRS. He might have it, he might not. He outbreaks himself into the hairpin. So he lost a tiny bit of time there as well. And no DRS, so he's got plenty of work to do. Meanwhile, up front, Speedy, can he still see Bailey Thompson? Not really. 3 seconds is the gap between the two of them. There is Bailey just disappearing around the left-hander. Bailey will know that pretty much all he has to do now is keep it on the straight and narrow for the rest of this race, because he has broken Speedy's resistance with that push, well, the pass on Astro Boys, and then the pushing for a couple of laps after that while Astro Boys and Speedy battled. Speedy backs it into the hairpin there.
So they're saying on chat that apparently they're complaining, Tara, that I'm too quiet. I'm just kind of letting you do your thing, but they want. Apparently,
oh, what happened? Oh, NJJ crashed. We missed NJJ crashing. Didn't see when that happened, or well, we saw when that happened. We didn't see how that happened. I think he's lost a bunch of his front wing as well. So NJJ losing 2 places. He was running really well up in P5, so now he's down in P7.
Yeah, Milos saying I sound depressed.
He doesn't sound depressed. That's definitely not.
He also changed his predictions. Conveniently, he says he now thinks Bailey Thompson's going to get P1, Speedy P2, and Astro P3.
I don't know about that. I mean, maybe maybe Astro Boys is actually in a net P3 at the moment, but Danico is flying on those medium tyres, and Astro's had to put the hard tyres on to go to the end of the race. So I think Danico possibly going to have something to say about those predictions. So I think he might be looking at a podium himself if he can get the hammer down now on those medium tyres.
Oh, we have Timo is gracing the chat box.
Hey,
He
Thimo has
apparently-
woken up. Hello, Thimo.
Yeah, he says he's watching the stream on his TV while he's rebuilding his PC.
Hey, oh, because he was he at a, I think he said he was at a LAN party, so yeah, he's, I guess, managed to get his PC home, and now that he's had some sleep, he's going to put it together again. Curtis having a think about a pass on /LP, but not close enough into the final chicane this time. 3.3 seconds is the gap up front. What has happened here? I think Dilla ran very wide there. He's going to be looking at Blindevink by the looks of it into the chicane. Nope, he's got no hybrid, that's why he's not very fast in a straight line. Instead just waits behind. A little bit further up the grid, here is Slash and Bertus. Slash, I think, is going to get DRS from the ghost of El Sergios, which is quite lucky for him. He does indeed. So he's going to be able to stay ahead for at least another half a lap or so as he cuts the chicane in Sector 2. Icewind gets himself 3 more seconds. What a disaster of a race it's been for Icewind. We said earlier on, Tipsy, that Icewind occasionally has issues with his consistency, and just on that first lap incident and then being a little bit overzealous on the throttle after that, that's certainly what happened here today.
Yeah, he's his own worst enemy, as we're saying, with these little mistakes which just cost him so much.
Oh, Aspertus almost. I thought I was about to be commiserating for Bertus there, because after a really good first half of the race, he almost lost it on the front straight. Managed to catch it though. Sorry, I interrupted you about Icewind to...
No, I was pretty much finished. It's just that it's those little mistakes that seem to cost them so dearly. You know, just mostly on the traction.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, just a little bit too enthusiastic on the throttle, and it's so easy to do around here as well. Yes, I think he was overtaken there by Dilla.
Well, actually, I was running on board with that. Dilla's been fighting Blindevink for quite a while. And he can't get past him, but now Icewind has now caught up with him, and Icewind had a little look there down Dilla, but Dilla was able to hold him off. I would expect to see Icewind. He has got he's got 97% ERS, so he will be going full attack on this main straight, as Dilla does get the move done on Blindevink eventually.
Yep, he does. So Blindevink on those medium tyres. Blindevink does have better tyres than both of these guys, but not able to make them work at the moment. Oh, as he tries to put his car at the inside. There wasn't really any room there.
But keep an eye on Icewind now. He's going to switch this on the overtake mode, and he's going to go full attack. Although Blindevink does have the DRS, so it's going to kind of spoil his chances here. Yeah.
Got a grandstand view of these two battling, and he's going to have to be really careful here in the final chicane, because Blindevink's line was certainly compromised. Blindevink goes defensive into turn 1. Can Icewind go around the outside? No, he can't. And has to get out of the throttle there just for a second. And we're only just over halfway through this race, would you believe? So much incident. Dilla gets himself 3 seconds for chopping off the right-hander. Oh, as Icewind hits the back of the McLaren into the braking zone again, just a little bit too hypey. Icewind just needs to calm down a little bit. Now he's got it all to do again, as Bertus once again has a look down the back straight on /LP. They've got Astro Boys chasing them as well on those hard tyres, so these two are going to be battling. It's going to be a 3-car battle very soon indeed. Astro Boys is going to be rapid on those tyres. Of course, he's battling with Danico at the moment on the score sheet, at least, because Danico will have to pit again. At the moment the gap is about 15 seconds, but Danico, of course, will be putting on the really fast tyres for the end of the race, while Astro Boys is going to be on the old hard tyres. Oh, and Astro Boys hits Bertus into the wall, and, well, we saw Bertus last week having one of the fast boys rear-ending him. Astro Boys does it this time. And that certainly will get the attention of the FIA board, unfortunately for Astro Boys. We've seen him a few times this season get himself into trouble.
Yeah, he's lining up Slashy as well on this main straight. I think it's going to be pretty straightforward though on the DRS.
Yep, Slashy doing well just to get out of the way.
Completely misses breaking point.
And
Yeah, I was actually going to say that a lap before that was running on board with Astro, and he seems to break really late, and he kind of catches himself out a little bit.
Yeah, he certainly did.
And that's how he's getting the penalties.
Slash, by the way, pitted there and got himself a 5-second penalty into the bargain for speeding in the pit lane. So Slash not able to get it slowed down. I didn't see if there was any contact between the two of them. I don't think there was. Slash and Astro Boys. But certainly Slash giving himself plenty to do here. He's gone for the soft tyres to go to the end of the race. 15 laps on the soft tyres? I don't know about that. We'll see if he's able to make it work. That seems optimistic to me, though.
Thimo says in chat, Tara, that your Oxfordian vocabulary is above his language level, so he's depending on me. I mean, I think I'm the last person you want to depend on trying to understand.
It's okay, Thimo. Thimo is obviously... I guess he's probably hungover from last night, so we'll forgive him that. Although if it was a LAN party, they were probably playing League all night or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know. Something tells me that whatever game Thimo was playing, it probably wasn't that interesting.
As Icewind pits, manages not to run into the back of Dilla as he pits.
Milos is urging Danny to get that P3 for the constructors.
Yeah, I think he might be. He's at the moment 17 seconds. A Slash. Oh, Slash has what is Slash doing? Oh, he lagged. That's what happened. Okay, so Slash is lagging. Speedy and Danico both pit. So Speedy again trying the undercut to get in range of Bailey. Puts another set of medium tyres on. Danny is going to be, I think, behind Astro Boys here as he leaves the pit lane. There is Astro Boys. Oh, he might not be behind him, actually. Down the main straight. We said it was a short pit lane. It might be short enough that Danny... It's going to be really close between the two of them. I think Astro is going to be slightly ahead as they come into the second corner. And yep, Astro Boys is slightly ahead, but only slightly. And Danny has much better tyres. And he'll be able to take those tyres from now to the end of the race. He gets himself 3 seconds, though, so that won't help him. So these two the same on penalties now. Astro, I'm pretty sure, has 6 seconds. And Astro, by the way, is going to lose his position here. I would have thought. Yep, he lets Danny go.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure whether Speedy's going to get the jump done on Bailey, because he was about half a second down on his fastest time, but he seems to be clawing it back again as he's just approaching this final.
Yeah, the thing is, Bailey has gone another lap, so curious to see the thinking there behind Bailey going another lap, because surely he will...
In saying that, sorry Terry, actually Speedy did recover and he ended up going 2/10 quicker than his previous best, so
yeah,
I think he's on a charge.
I think he's going to be ahead of him. 17 seconds is the gap at the moment, and that is not big enough, and he's lost, well, just in the last half a lap alone, he's lost more than a second as Bailey to Speedy. So I wonder if Bailey wants to put the soft tyres on him, whether that's why he's trying to stretch another lap. Otherwise it makes no sense at all.
Speedy just went 8/10 quicker on sector 1 than his previous best.
Yep.
Almost a second. So this Speedy is on an absolute charge here to get this.
Yeah, he is flying again, 8/10 up. As Bailey surely now, yeah, Bailey pits. Lap. I think it's almost certainly going to be the fastest lap of the race from Speedy. As he
I
comes
think
down
he
this main
almost certainly
straight.
will get the jump on Bailey as well.
Yeah, I think he's going to be ahead of him. I don't think it's even going to be particularly close. He was 3 seconds behind before the pit stop. Bailey does put the soft tyres on, so he is going to have better tyres. But there is Speedy on the left, and he's going to be passing Bailey. And we are going to have a battle royal for this last, 11 laps or so between Speedy and Bailey Thompson. They've been the class of the field, and they're going to be fighting it out for the win over the course of this last 11 laps.
Yeah, so Bailey's just going to try and mount everything he's got with these fresh softs, try and take every last little bit of grip out of them. But if Speedy can somehow hold him off, which is going to be tricky with these two long main DRS zones, if he can hold him off, then the mediums will come into their own, and Bailey will probably start dropping off. So these next few laps, upcoming few laps for Bailey, are really important for this race win.
Yep, agreed. They certainly are. And I wonder if Speedy's best opportunity, you mentioned about the DRS zones, as Slash still lagging by the looks of it, but has managed to pass Pretorius for P5. Pretorius again runs into the back of the car
Bailey's
in front of him.
going for it here, Tara. Bailey's going for it. My goodness, he got such an overspeed.
Yep, certainly the DRS makes that pretty easy. I wonder if Speedy's best chance here, I was about to say before he actually did overtake him, but just to let Bailey go and then try and hang in his DRS. But it's going to be so difficult because Bailey, with those fresh soft tyres, is going to be extremely fast. And even with the DRS zones, it's going to be very difficult, I think, for Speedy to stay in DRS range. He's in fact out of DRS range already, so I don't think he'll have it for this straight. One sector after he overtook, and yeah, he doesn't indeed. So Bailey looks like he is on course for maximum points here. He'll probably also get fastest lap here, as Slash is lagging all over the place at the moment. Pretorius, don't know what he can see, but if it's anything like what we can see, he's going to be fearing for his life as he gets 3 more seconds and almost loses it. Does lose it into the wall. Oh, Pretorius, another one who's had such an eventful race because he's not really been able to keep the car under control at crucial moments, and once again he finds the wall and loses a chunk of that front wing.
Thimo saying that the commentary is lacking high-pitched screams.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can actually do high-pitched screams anymore. 10 years ago I probably could have, but
You see,
not so
that's
much
the
now.
difference, because you see, we're grown men, whereas Timo's still a child, so we don't get excited that easy. Plus, we don't squeal like it.
Yeah, I don't know if I literally could. Oh, 3 wide out of here. That's not going to work. Adam and Bertus, and also who is that? That's Dead Pixel, isn't it? So these 3 are going to be battling all the way down this straight now. Pretorius and Slash both pit, as Pixel has to back out of that one. Bertus, at least for now, gets the position. As Pretorius pits, and oh, I'm trying to find this battle. There it is. And Pixel, yeah, loses another place to Adam. Adam outbreaks himself, though, side by side into turn 2. A little bit of contact. They get away with it. And NJJ now right on the back of OceanChief as well. Slash LP's come out just behind them, so Slash in that very laggy Red Bull. Right up behind these 2. I think NJJ is going to be passed here into the right-hander. Adam and Dead Pixel just ahead of them as well. So NJJ on a charge. OceanChief, I think, going to be overtaken by Slash here, if Slash's connection can stay good enough for long enough. I think he'll have DRS as well. A little bit further up. What is this? This is Pixel passing Adiro Nerve into the final corner. Didn't get a great run on exit, but does have DRS, so I think he'll probably be okay. He's turned his hybrid down, though, as Dead Pixel, which seems like a mistake to me. Does just about get away with it. And oh, there's all sorts of fun here. Adam putting his nose where he really shouldn't have. And he loses that place as well to Slash. So lots of action in the last 6 laps or so. Up front, Bailey has pulled away to the tune of 3 seconds.
Yeah, I was just actually checking the penalty system or setup there, and Speedy, as we know, has a 3-second time penalty, but
Yeah.
Bailey Thompson also has a 3-second time penalty. I missed that.
I
So
missed
they've
that
both
as well. Something else I missed was NJJ retiring for some reason. Didn't see why, but he has retired. But yeah, good spot, because I didn't think Bailey had a penalty, and it turns out that he does. So another penalty in this late stage in the race would make the end of it interesting, because Speedy is exactly 3 seconds behind. Still lots of action for the minor places. Pretorius is trying to make his way through this little gaggle of cars on those fresh soft tyres. He's going to be wanting to make as much progress as he can. I think he's going to be past Pixel here into this chicane. Pixel, I think, would be sensible to let him have it. He does indeed. So Pretorius having pitted, of course. Icewind all over the back of OceanChief as well. Icewind. Oh. Icewind, please.
Like, that seems to be his Achilles heel in this track.
Yeah, it certainly does. As Astro Boys pits. That's a weird one. Could he not get to the end of the race? Oh, he's pitting for fastest lap. I see. Okay, so he thinks he's far enough ahead of Light Cruiser to try and get this fastest lap. So that's what he's doing. He's going to have to pass Light Cruiser here, though, in these last 6 laps. He probably is going to be able to do it, but we've seen before Astro Boy's getting himself into unnecessary incidents. Sorry, Tipsy.
Icewind went for a move on OceanChief there, and he ran wide again. So it's starting to maybe frustrate Icewind here at the moment, sitting behind Captain Fast.
Slash gets himself 3 seconds. Yeah, Icewind, he's on much better tyres than Ocean, so you'd think he'd be able to do this without any real problem. As finally, it looks like he does get the move done. As again, Astro Boys just runs into the back of Light Cruiser there for no real reason, into the braking zone. Light Cruiser, I'm sure, is not going to fight this too hard. And maybe he is going to fight this too hard. He's going to go defensive into the chicane, as Astro Boys will have to brake later, and he does brake later for the chicane. Not done yet, though. Light Cruiser at least having a think about it. Astro with the DRS, of course. Light Cruiser having a look up the inside, but not really able to do anything there.
I'm going for a pass on Dead Pixel in the final chicane. Oh, it's pretty straightforward.
Oh, Icewind again.
Icewind.
My goodness.
We've lost Dilla as well.
Dilla was...
For some reason, Dilla's...
Yeah, I think we're having some sort of connection issues here. And I don't think it's just Slash. I think it's a lot of the grid that is having connection issues. So Dilla is certainly not in the lead. We know that much. And it looks like he has desynced from most of the rest of the grid here. So,
oh my goodness,
wow.
Really lost the trying to catch past the back markers. He almost suffered a nice wind incident there, but he held it together.
I hadn't realised that was Bailey passing. He was he trying to go around the outside there of Icewind, and well, Icewind probably should have gotten out of his way, but that certainly wouldn't have helped him. 3.5 seconds is the gap with just over 3 laps to go. He's out of the hairpin goes Bailey Thompson. He's going to be able to get past that back marker, which I think was Adam. It was indeed. And that's the disconnected Dilla, who I think has gone into the pits. So Dilla having to pit to get to the end of the race, and unfortunately there's going to be no points for Dilla despite what was a pretty good performance. in that Toro Rosso. Pretorius gets himself 3 more seconds. He's right on the back of Bertus here. Through the left-right he goes. I don't know if... I'm going to check the fastest lap in a second, because I don't know if Astro managed to do the fastest lap. Or if he's about to do that at the moment. He's got no battery left, so this might be the lap that he does it. Across the line, he needs to beat a 1 minute 11.0, and he's going to do that by the looks of it, 1 minute 10.8. So fastest lap to Astro Boys. The pit stop pays off. As Pretorius passes Bertus into the final chicane. 3 laps to go for these guys. 2.5 laps to go for Bailey Thompson, our leader, who I think is going to be our winner for today. As Icewind trying to pass Pixel for what I think is the final point, although I'm not sure what the penalty situation is. I've seen several Icewind penalties, so I suspect it might not be. As Speedy pits, is he going to try and do the fastest lap on the last lap? So Speedy putting the soft tyres on. He has just about got a free pit stop. He's going to be, I think, coming out ahead of Danico, looks like.
It's going to be pretty tight. Oh, no, it's not. Completely wrong judgment.
It was reasonably tight. It was, what, 2 seconds or so between the 2 of them, but Speedy, of course, on the much better tyres. So what happened to... Did something happen to Adam there? Got overtaken by Icewind. He's on 24 lap old hard, so they might be struggling to get the end of the race. Adam's tyres in that Haas.
Yeah, I think Speedy's pretty much just kind of accepted that he's not going to close that gap down to Bailey. And like you said, he's going to go for the fastest lap.
Yep, I'm sure
I would
that's...
have liked to see him run a bit longer. But,
yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, people can get penalties.
oh my goodness! Dead Pixel, Dead Pixel and Adam both went off track there. It looked like I just got the tail end of it. Looks like, oh, Dead Pixel lost it again on the brakes. My goodness.
Dear,
it's
Dead
almost
Pixel.
like his brakes are not working.
Yeah, Dead Pixel really struggling. I wonder if he's struggling on tyres as well. 22 lap old hard tyres. That is a lot of laps to take those hards on. Adam has taken them 25 laps, which is very impressive. Ocean likewise. Just going to keep an eye on Speedy here, who is trying to do the fastest lap of the race. He's 2/10 up on his own best lap in the first sector. Astro Boys gets himself 3 more seconds. Wonder if he's going to fall into the clutches of Light Cruiser here, Astro Boys. Don't know exactly what the penalty situation is, but he's only just over 6 seconds ahead of him.
But just before Bailey, he's coming down this final main straight to take this race win. Before he does it, I kind of promised Chief that we would mention the EGL League before the race was over. So we've got like a couple of seconds. So we've got we've got Light Cruiser, Pretorius, Jensen and Bailey Thompson.
Yeah, Bailey Thompson, who is coming across the line now. He is very happy with himself. He is going to win the SLR Tier 1 Montreal race. Speedy's going to come across the line second. Is he going to get that point for the fastest lap? He has a 10.8 to beat. He's easily going to do it. Crosses the line, 1 minute 10.488. Was it a legit lap? Yes, it was. Speedy gets the fastest lap as well.
Yeah, the EGL, as I was saying, we've got the Jensen, Bailey, Light Cruiser and Pretorius are representing the SLR in the EGL League. I think it's next Friday.
It is next Friday, so yeah, join us for that next Friday, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Central European time, 7 p.m. UK time. So join us for that. We have it's the first EGL F1 2019 tournament, and we have a very, very strong field, as Tipsy mentioned. Pretorius is one of the SLR drivers. He's going to cross the line to finish 6th in this race. And that, in fact, is everyone, because everyone from 8th down was more than a lap down in this race. Slash's game crashed on the last lap. That's really unfortunate for him.
It's also for the EGL. It'll be covered by myself and Timo. So you're going to get the droll tones of me and the high-pitched screams of Timo.
Yep, Thimo and TipsyBob in the commentary box for that one. For this one, though, Bailey wins the race. Speedy second, an all-British podium, in fact. Speedy second, Danny third, Astro Boys fourth, having done that lap to try and get the fastest lap. Speedy ends up with it, though. Light Cruiser, P5. Good result for him. Pretorius, after a couple of incidents, P6. And then Bertus/LP, Dead Pixel, and Icewind rounding out the points. Icewind, despite many incidents and despite starting on the front row. Adironov 11th. OceanChief doesn't get his point, unfortunately. P12. Dilla P13. And that is everyone who finished the race. So, as Tipsy has been mentioning, the EGL tournament next Friday at 8 o'clock. And just to whet your appetite, here is the trailer. There it is. Hopefully there was sound this time. Was there? Yeah, okay. Tipsy. Tipsy.
Yeah, sorry about that on the chat.
Trolling
I
us
actually
all.
forgot. Yeah, I forgot. I'm watching the stream, but I have it muted, so I don't hear myself back. So sorry about that.
That's okay. I was. Yeah, I would have been frustrated if there had been no sound, but there was sound, so we are good. All right, so we have to pick a driver of the day, don't we? Who's going to be our driver of the day?
Well, I know how whenever I'm doing it, I generally don't like to pick the guy that leads from the front. However, this is a little bit of a different one because the guys who got the podiums didn't actually lead from the front. Initially, they didn't get pole position. So I think, Speedy and Danny and Bailey are in there with the contenders. I don't know. I'm looking down them. Bailey was very confident and a commanding win, and Speedy's also did a great job. But I'm kind of leaning towards Danny getting on the podium P3.
Yeah, so I was going to suggest Danny as well, and I'm glad you did, because we didn't see him a lot in this race. He didn't have particularly an eventful race, but it was one of those races where he got a podium because he was the sensible, consistent driver, and everyone else was doing crazy things. So I think I agree with you. I think Danny Co is going to be the driver of the day for Canada SLR Tier 1. Of course, he's got the 2SRL tag in his name as well, which speeds him up by at least a couple of tenths a lap.
Sorry, Chief, just says Danny brought home the gammon. Anybody who isn't aware, Danny does love a bit of gammon.
He does like his gammon. It's very salty, which, yeah, I'm not going to make the obvious joke, but, it's Danny Co with the gammon and with the driver of the day as well. So, what time is it? It's nearly 1:45, which means that if anyone wants to speak to us, do let us know. We're going to do a very quick interview here. I have to go to be ready for the Le Mans Enduro, which starts.
Icewind saying that he can do an interview.
Yeah,
about his failure.
Let's talk to Icewind then, because we talked a little bit in the broadcast about Icewind, who I think was struggling quite a lot in that race. We saw him. I'm going to drag him in here. Hopefully he's ready for it. We saw him struggle quite a lot. He started on the front row, fantastic qualifying time from Icewind, but just fell apart a little bit during the race, didn't it? What happened, Icewind?
Hello. I don't actually know what happened. Was it on lap 2 when I slash run wide in the hairpin and I
Yeah, it was
I
either
was
lap 1 or
basically
lap
full,
2,
full
wasn't
lock
it?
there, and I couldn't really do anything, and I seemed to sort of get caught in him on something. I don't know what happened there, like stuck in him. And well, it kind of went down from there.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
we saw.
yeah, I was really compromised when I had to go on the hard tire, and they were just really bad at Canada, I would say. They're really slow, and then I think I was just, yeah, it's purely my fault, of course, but I just got caught up by people braking really early into some corners, because I had practiced quite a lot for this track, and yeah.
Yeah, disappointing.
Really disappointment once again, but at least I got back to P10, which is more than I
Yeah, you got yourself a point. You got yourself a point, and you showed as well that you have the pace. Again, the qualifying time was a really strong qualifying time. I mean, that's very good pace around Canada, and obviously Slash as well, showing really good pace. I mean,
I was quite surprised about him about that qualifying. So
yeah, absolutely.
I knew that I had that in me, but yeah, and I was sort of. I lost like 3/10 on my best lap when I almost spun out of the hairpin, but it was still because I really nailed the last corner. So I doubt I could have really got a lot more out of that. So
yeah, well, it certainly could have been pole by the sounds of it. But is there any secret? Is this a track that you really like? Is it?
No, I just
seems to suit you.
Sort of found a good setup for it. I think I did work on it quite a lot. So I had a lot of problems at the start with understeer, but I managed to get that fixed. So I think I just had a really good setup and I got a really good feel for the track. So
yep, fair enough.
That's where that pace was from. So
well, bad luck. Hopefully, are you going to be racing 2 SRL tomorrow?
Yeah, and that's what I was about to come to, because it always seems to be that I pardon my French, but I cock up these SLR races, and then I do better in the 2 SRL ones. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, you seem to get it out of your system on the Saturday, and then come back fighting on the Sunday. So yeah, it'll be fun tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it a lot. I think it'll be a good battle up front.
Congrats to the guys on the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. That's everyone on the podium. I think drove really well. Danico with a really consistent drive to finish third.
If I can just say it, because I'll be racing tomorrow, I don't have any practice whatsoever on Canada this season. So Gloomy, you can send me your setup.
Sure, I can do that.
I've done a career mode race. Hopefully that counts. That's the only practice I've done so far. Though.
You can go really aggressive on the front end here, because the front tires just don't die.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. All right. Well, thanks for talking to us, Icewind. Bad luck on the race today, and hopefully tomorrow is a little bit better. I'm sure it will be.
We'll see. Thanks.
But thank you also to TipsyBob for joining me today on reasonably short notice. Thimo was obviously out doing more important things last night, so he's not been able to do today. He'll be back, of course, for future broadcasts.
Yes, normality will be restored next Saturday.
Yep, absolutely. But I usually ask Thimo, so I'm going to ask you as well. Any final thoughts, Tipsy, from Canada?
Not really. I think it caught me off guard.
It's okay. It's what we like to do.
No, I was just going to say, I think definitely the start was just amazing in terms of how much action there was, because whenever I was looking down the leaderboard, there was just like lots of red arrows and green arrows. Everyone was changing positions left, right, and center, and then there was lots of incidents, and it was hard to keep track of everything. And then we did see a completely different lineup in terms of the qualifying, really surprising lineup. But you often hear people saying, you don't win a race on a Saturday. It's the Sunday, well, effectively the Sunday or the race that counts. And I guess that's one thing we can really take away from today's race, was that even if you are outside of the podium on qualifying, even if you're out, in top 5 on podium, in the qualifying, that it doesn't mean you're going to lose, because like we've seen Danny how well he done in getting his P3. Then of course Bailey and Speedy getting the first and the second. So I think if anything is to take from it is, you know, don't give up if you don't get a good qualifying. Keep at it and just never give up, because as we've seen in Canada, anything can happen. People like there's Gloomy who got you know, I didn't think he quite made out on the pole, but Slashy made the pole, but Gloomy got such a fantastic lap time in qualifying, and then it just all fell apart for him. So I guess for me, not to keep you back, so you have to go. It would just be, I think for this one, don't give up. And anytime you're racing people, just do not give up until the final lap.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, you don't get any points for qualifying, even though you can show how good your pace is. You don't actually get any points for it. So it's only really the race that counts. That's absolutely right. And I think the drivers who finished at the front were the ones that remembered that today and managed to keep it on the straight and narrow for the race.
Yeah, if I just could say, Tara, before you finish this, I want to thank you for letting me join you for this commentating.
No, anytime. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it a lot.
I didn't give you as hard a time as I said I would, because I was just letting you just do your thing. But I mean, if this is another event where we'll be doing this, I think I will be probably annoying you the second time around. That's
okay. I mean, I'm sure I'm absolutely sure it won't be the last time. So yeah, we will see what happens when we're in the commentary box together again. It'll be fun. So yeah, I think that wraps up the broadcast. Thanks very much to everyone for watching. We have 2 SRL tomorrow, of course. Don't forget, next Friday, 8 p.m. is the Extreme Rivals 5 tournament. Tipsy and Thimo will be in the commentary box for that one. Join them for that. I'll be on track, trying not to finish last. It is a very strong field that we have for that one. But until then, and until 2 SRL as well tomorrow, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time.